15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Hello again. Welcome to the Doug Video Show, the voice of San Joaquin. It's a tongue twister right now because I'm used to saying I was almost saying do the Stockton, the voice of Stockton, but anyway, the voice of San Joaquin County. So anyway, welcome to my show, and I would like to, right now I have no guests at the moment, so now I'm just gonna talk about what I, from a previous broadcast of the Lion Show. I was talking about variation of communication barrier, as far as that, Yesterday I went to the Democratic delegation, Democrat, and I was looking forward to check it out and see and observe, and I was going to a vote for the delegate in the Democratic Party. And first I was like walking in, it was a lot of crowd, a lot of people there, and it was interesting, it was hot, because of body heat, So I walk in, and it already started. We were there like on time, and it already started. People who were the candidate who were running for delegation. So I'm like, I was okay, but I need something to sit. I can't be standing. So I asked, "Where's an interpreter?" She said, "Oh, I'll get you one." I said, okay. So I knew they're not going to have it. So they just went over there, and I get you one. I said, okay. So I was like, I kind of let it go. So I waited, and right away I thought, oh, did you bring someone with you? I said, no, it's not required, but an interpreter for that. He said, for what? I'm like, interpret for them to understand, for me to understand and hear it, to hear what they're talking about. But anyway, they got me. That's okay. I said, forget it. Just put me in the front. And they did. And some of them were talking low. Some of them were talking high. Some of them were screaming. Some of them were yelling. It's like, wow. It's just like, am I in a concert? Variety of voices going and talk about what they're gonna fight for within the Democratic Party. So I'm like, okay. And so after I seen a few, I have saw a lot of people that I knew were there, and they were kind of surprised that I showed up there and be respectful and talk and say hi, everything, happy New Year's. So it was good. And I be getting a lot of stare look, and people every time I go by, they're up there, and then they get on their phone and start talking. Oh, calling people. But and I was very interesting how they play, you know. So I was like, huh. So, but yet, you know, it's kind of again, you know, being part of the Democratic representatives like myself, you know, it was like they tell they fight for justice, they fight for injustice, oppression, they fight for blah blah blah, and I'm looking at them like, that's yeah. It was like, you know, and then I was part of the Disability Caucus before as a member 2 years ago, and I was running to become a chairperson there, but you have to have somebody there to appoint me as a disability caucus. So I'm like, okay, but anyway, it didn't go through because people are kind of ignoring when I call, and they never respond back. So anyway, so because I knew that it had to have an interpreter, they need to have someone to be there to sign. So it costs money to communicate barrier accommodation with people with disability, with deaf and hard of hearing. So anyway, it was it's kind of like, okay, so what am I here fighting for representation? And finally, they didn't really talk about anything. They talk about too general. They're talking about health. You know, okay, what do you mean by health? Universal health? What? You know, they talk about jail reform. Okay, interesting. What else they talk about? Change it. Talking about the President Bush. You know, stop. And I'm like, okay, that's not common argument. Okay, you know, argument like this back and forth. You know, I'm looking like, okay. It really, nothing no substance about whether our community representation in the community, as far as working with community, helping people with the homeless, helping with the veteran, you know, representation. You know, even with the French camp, you know, what's blocking it is the sewer line that the city needs to remove that out so we could get our veteran to go to the hospital in French camp instead of traveling all the way to the Bay Area. Why? You know, family are here. Their family is within our range, within our community. You know, so I'm listening. I'm also looking at people with, you know, they talk about safety. I'm like, okay, what? But it wasn't point. I had a lot of reasons: safety for children, safety for people for elderly abuse, safety for women, safety for children with disability. All that the fact that they didn't specifically talk about, you know. So that to me that's the issue that I have to be, you know, listed all the way through. But that's not been said either, you know. So I was kind of pondering. I'm like, wow, same old agenda about president. You know, I don't care. You know, the president. It's not affecting my decision. You know, because we're in the county level and they're representing constituent that will nominate future candidate in 2020. So it's kind of surprising about that, you know, because I'm just kind of observing. So it's, you know, really don't have that much, not really have much choice, but definitely it really interests me how delegate work and process. As far as my concern about communicating accessibility, you know, I still, it's like, oh, they say they represent people with all oppression, And I'm looking, I'm like, wow, in the LGBT community, the LGBT community with the deaf community as representation. To have the Latino community, for me, I don't feel like I'm not representing fairly as far as being disabled, not representing fairly. So at three strike out, so I just feel a lot of things is not really wasn't. It's already been played out because a lot of people went in and voted somebody that needed to be to really relate all the other group. Like, wow, that's really political right there. You know what I mean? Down in those little organizations. So it's a learning experience for me. I'm like, it's a learning experience that I learned watching and observing. And just watching and seeing different group, individual, and idea. Even talked to someone there. I have known before, and in the opposite side. It's like just because you have a different an opinion, ideas, who could run the government. We still respect each other. Regardless. Instead of hating. So I still respect people. That's my attitude. So I really was surprised, to see a lot of people there, opposing. So that's what. But at the same time, it's like it showed that just observing the city of Stockton, it's like the devil's playground to me. It's like I'm wide aware of how they play, what's everything going on, how they react. They should be, people that show up in the city hall, they should be registered as a lobbyist. Register as a lobbyist, because they all have the same. They have the same people, same group that come to support our to me, they're lobbyists. To me, in the county, they have to register as lobbyists to support or against something. So. But obviously they don't do that. But somehow it should be it could be a lobbyist as well. So, but organization itself. But a nonprofit organization that benefit, support themselves. It's self-serving, self-benefits themselves. So I see a lot of it happening, and it really made me feel like, okay, I have to do more to be fair, do more to serve. To understand where they're coming from, where their motive will, that their intention. So to observe, and it really opened my eyes. And I don't see it the same before that I see different now. I saw a lot in the local politics, and I really kind of numb to it. So, I'm not surprised. It's just like, it's so dramatic. That's what I call it, dramatic play out. And so when I see something like that happening in City Hall, it's dramatic too. So I'm looking at it. It's really interesting. So so anyway, to get to the point, I went there. There was a line all the way, and so in the point they put me a stamp there and a stamp there, and then they voted and they circle and put a box and threw it in there and left. And so that's it. And that's all what I know so far as being a democratic process. And that's pretty good. So I definitely learned a lot. I thank everyone that told me about it. But yet the organization itself, when they have a public meeting, they should have interpret regardless who's going to show up, because they're Democrat. We as a deaf community are Democrat. Most of them are Democrat. Some of them are Republican. Some of them are Republican too, but most of majority is Democrat. So we kind of excluded away again. So that's what my battle is. So just letting you know my experience. It was interesting, very to see how everything worked out. So played out too. I also want to congratulate a couple of people that did make it on the spot. You know, Christopher Monte Kansas, as well as Carlo Ferracuzwa and Brandon Ferracuzwa. So they're in the list, and also congratulate them. So I'm really hope they'll start working and changing a representation in the community instead of self-seeking, but people always by special interest group. Understand? So anyway, good. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks for watching the visual show at the Voice of San Joaquin. Thank you so much for everything. So I'll talk to you soon. Love you. Well, my trainee is coming to do the board.
All right, so play the music.
Bye-bye.